Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernard from the BTNHD, and do not freak out, there is sound on this video. So you just saw a super quick unboxing on Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 Extreme. Now what comes inside the box? We have our safety and warranty guide right here. We have our setup guide. Cool. Let's put these two things to the side. Then we have our power brick, which is actually 135 watts, and our power cable. So I'm going to plug this power cable to our power brick. Boom, and let's put it to the side. Now we have the beautiful ThinkPad X1 Extreme with the carbon fiber weave top design. This machine is actually the 4K OLED model, which is awesome. Now it's super light for me for traveling, weighing around 3.80 pounds with a thickness of 0.75 inches. Now for ports and features, if you have the laptop facing you to the point to open it up like this, on your right hand side we have the following ports. We have a media card slot, we have one USB 3.1 connector Gen 1, and then we have an additional USB 3.1 connector Gen 1 but always on charging. On your left hand side we have the following ports. We have our audio connector. We have a mini Ethernet connector, which you actually have to purchase an additional accessory to use it. We have an HDMI connector, and then we have two Thunderbolt 3 connectors, Type-C connection, which actually allows you to use Type-C monitors. And last but not least, we have our power connector. All right, so we just went over some of the ports and features on the X1 Extreme. So let's open this guy up real slow and power it on and log in. Look at that beautiful 15.6 4K display. Woo! Now the power button is actually located at the top right here on the right hand side. So we're going to press the power button to turn this guy on. Now for the X1, you are able to log in using the fingerprint scanner, which is actually located right here, as well as Windows Hello, because it actually has an IR camera. So I'm going to log in using my finger. Let's see if it works out with no problem. All right, so let's talk about the trackpad on the X1 Extreme. When I was using it, super responsive, didn't have any issues. I found myself using the trackpad a lot rather than hooking up a wired mouse or a Bluetooth mouse. So thumbs up on this trackpad. Now, if you want to know the measurement on this trackpad, if you take 1/4, a nickel, 1 penny, and 2 dimes, it's going to measure around 3.99, around 4 inches, which is really nice. For the keyboard for the X1 Extreme, it is backlit, which is a huge plus. When I was using it, super responsive. The space between each key, if you take 1 nickel and 1 penny, is going to measure around 0.12 inches. The X1 Extreme does have the signature track point pointing stick right here. I didn't find myself using it at all because, again, the trackpad worked with no problem on the X1 Extreme. Now the X1 Extreme really has some powerful speakers, which are actually located at the bottom of the machine. They work extremely well when you have them on a desk because it actually hits the desk and just projects it, and it makes it even louder. For loudness, I got around 95.0 decibels, which is really loud. Now for the display, it's touchscreen, which I wasn't really a big fan because I didn't find myself using it as much. If you want to know the display size, it's actually 15.6 inches with a resolution of 3840 by 2160, making it 4K. Now for the brightness on the display, I believe this is the brightest that we could go, and this is the lowest right here. This is the brightest. This machine does have HDR enabled, which when I was watching content which had HDR, it worked extremely well. Just got to go inside the Windows settings and configure it. At the very top of the display, we have a 720 webcam. This guy right here is configured to have the IR cam, which allows me to log into this machine using Windows Hello. It also has the privacy guard and the slider, which is really smooth and easy to open and close. Okay, so we just talked about the trackpad, keyboard, and display and webcam on the X1 Extreme. So let's talk about the specifications, because this is the reason why I love this machine. So on the desktop, let's right click on the taskbar. Let's go inside Task Manager. And right now, I could just tell you one of my cons about this machine. I don't know if you guys can hear it or pick it up. The loud noise, a loud fan noise, which I'm going to go over some of the cons about this machine. And it's a few, it's not a lot of them. So I'm gonna open up the task manager. Let's go to performance real quick. And for the CPU, I'm gonna right click on the graph, gonna change the graph to, let's say, logical processor. And this machine right now is running an Intel Core i7-9850H processor with a clock speed of 2.60 gigahertz. It actually has 1 socket, 6 cores, 12 logical processors. For memory, I got 32 gigs, which I'm super happy with the 32 gigs. You can max this guy at the Lenovo site for 64 gigs. For hard drive space, they gave me 1 terabyte solid state drive PCIe. One of the cool things about this machine is that it is super easy to upgrade. Just put it flat down, open up the bottom part. You're able to upgrade the solid state drive to something else, even add an additional solid state drive and the memory with no problem. Now, for graphics processor, this guy is a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 with 4 gigs. This is the reason why I love this laptop so much, because I was able to game with no problem. Also, edit 4K with Adobe Premiere without creating any proxy files. It was awesome. And I mean, I was actually editing DCI 4K video, which was great. Because of the graphics card, I was able to game with it with no problem. I did live stream with this machine. I used this guy as an all-in-one. I was running OBS, Overwatch, a webcam, using my Xbox controller, and this guy performed with no problem. I didn't have the additional mini Ethernet adapter to hook it up hardwired, so I took advantage of the wireless, and I was gaming and streaming at my Twitch channel on the Wi-Fi, and it just worked. This guy is a monster. Now, the X1 Extreme does get a little hot. I noticed the heat around the keyboard area as well as the display. There is a vent located right between the keyboard and the display right here, so that heat actually hits the display. At the bottom, it gets really hot, so I do not advise you using this guy on your lap. If you do, and if that's what you like doing with laptops, grab a pillow, put it on your lap, and then put this laptop on the pillow, because again, it's gonna get hot. All right, so we just went over some of the specs and I spoke about the performance of the X1 Extreme. I am super satisfied on the performance. One of the things is the heating, which is okay with me. I don't mind the heating. And another thing I don't like about this machine is the battery. This guy, you actually have to have it hooked up to the outlet, because if not, you're going to get about 4 to 5 hours of battery life. With all my laptops, I like to run PC Mark 10, and I like to do a couple of tests. The first one was a modern office battery life, which lasts around 4 hours and 27 minutes. Then I ran it again, video battery life, it ran around 4 hours and 3 minutes. And then last but not least, just not even touching the machine, you know, just basic stuff running in the background, like Windows services, Windows updates, and all that other stuff. 8 hours and 39 minutes, right? Now, the last test that I did, right, before I even show you, this machine, you are able to go inside advanced settings and change the display to do either discrete or hybrid. Now, by default, this machine was set up to hybrid, which it's supposed to make your battery life last longer. And I was kind of surprised I only got about 4 hours, right, with that kind of setting. Now, on the last test, because I wanted more power, high performance, I switched the graphics card to within, you know, BIOS setting to discrete. And then I ran the test again, and I got 5 hours and 30 minutes with modern office battery life. That basically, it runs in the, you know, it runs all kinds of stuff like Office Suite, going online, doing basic stuff. And I got about 5 hours. I took this guy at home. I left the power brick at the job, and I was just playing around with it. I got around 5.5 to maybe 6 hours of battery life. And it really depends on what I was doing. It was up to a point that I got 4.5 hours because I was doing a lot of rendering, and the battery life just died. So I had to tweak the machine to the point I had to lower down the display. I had to change the power settings to do green power saving mode. So that's the only reason that I got maybe like I squeezed in another hour or so. But it really depends on how you're using it. But for me, the battery life is like really sucky sometimes. All right, guys, let's conclude our review on the X1 Extreme. This guy gets extremely dirty. I'm constantly wiping it off, fingerprints everywhere. Oh, drives me nuts. One of the things I love about this machine is that it has 3 ports that allows me to hook up external monitors. That's awesome. 1 HDMI, and then you have 2 Type-C, Thunderbolt 3 ports, which is awesome. It's like 4 displays. Beautiful. Now for pricing, it is pretty pricey, but I would definitely purchase this guy with the, the little 2 things that I don't like about it, which I'm going to go over with you pretty soon. Now for pricing point, retail price is going to be around $1,500. The highest price point right now, the Lenovo is advertising the X1 Extreme is around $2,600, right? You are able to get the lowest end, but try to go and get the highest processor one. And then for memory and for hard drive space, get the lowest one. Because like I said before, it's super easy to upgrade this machine's solid state drive and memories. And you could probably get the memory sticks and a solid state drive super cheap somewhere in, internet world. It's a sale. Just got to find it. Size wise, I loved it. Weighing around 3.80 pounds with the thickness of 0.75 inches. Super easy to stick it into my book bag, travel with it, and still have the power. The only problem is if I leave my power adapter at home, I only got 4.5, maybe 5 hours of battery life. If I'm doing a lot of editing, that's gonna suck. Like right now, I started this video with you guys with 100%, and it's already 69%. Another thing I don't like about this machine is fan noise. It sounds like a jet engine or airplane about to take off. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. But it's just the machine really processing and just using and utilizing all the hardware, right, to give you that extra power. It doesn't matter if you have hybrid or discrete with your settings within BIOS, you're still going to get that fan noise. Overall, I am super happy on the ThinkPad X1 Extreme. This is the type of machine that I would purchase personally, like seriously. I didn't even have a chance to configure Hyper-V Manager or install like VirtualBox or VMware Workstation to do a couple of virtual machine settings. But I know this machine is capable of handling it. I could bump it up to 64 gigs, add an additional hard drive, and install all my virtual machines inside that second hard drive with no problem. I think this is the laptop right here that I would definitely buy. Like, this is the 2020 laptop that you should get. But I feel like if you purchase this now, I guarantee you Lenovo is going to come out with something better, like the X1 Extreme. I don't know. But overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review on the ThinkPad X1 Extreme. Leave comments right below. Don't forget about hitting that like button. Also, subscribe. Punch it, smash it, do whatever you need to do. Share out the video, and I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.